everyone, so today we're going to be talking about this yarn by Red Heart, and it's called It's a Wrap, the sprinkles version. So what it means by sprinkle version is there is a multicolor strand that goes throughout this entire skein. So even though it goes from a blue to a purple to a pink to kind of a turquoise, throughout all of those colors there's a multicolor strand going all throughout, which is representing the sprinkles. So the color shade I have here is called Sunday. It's a really adorable name because sprinkles and then you think of a sundae. It's really cute. And I really love these colors. Normally I don't really gear myself towards these types of colors, but I really love them. They're very bright, they're very vibrant. They kind of remind me of a mermaid actually, because of the different colors and the way they will gradually go from one color to the next. It's really pretty. So this yarn is a size 1 in the yarn sizing, so it's a super fine yarn. So you could actually compare this to sock yarn. Sock yarn is also a size 1, and so it's going to be a very thin yarn. Also with this yarn, it's actually kind of 4 different little tiny threads kind of twisted together to make one strand. So with that, I do want to say this yarn tends to split pretty easily. So if you're not used to yarn splitting or you really don't like that, you may not enjoy this yarn just because it does split. So you have to make sure that you're kind of consciously aware of that, because there's been a couple times in the wrap that I'm actually making right now, I will miss a strand because the yarn split. So I will have to actually rip it out and go back and fix it because there's like a loop of yarn just kind of chilling there. So I kind of try to make sure that I keep an eye on that. Like I said, it's happened to me a couple different times, so I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping an eye on that so I don't have to keep on ripping out my project. So that is a flaw with this, since it is a finer yarn. Since it does split, it can make it a little bit more irritating because you may have to rip out your project and restart. So if you do work with this yarn, just make sure you realize that the yarn does split. So make sure that you are pulling all the threads together to complete the one strand of yarn. So there is 623 yards in this. It is supposed to be enough to make a wrap. I am actually crocheting a wrap right now with it, and I had to buy a second skein because I don't think I'm going to have enough to finish it. I think if you were making a shawl, a triangle shawl, I think you would have enough yarn because those gradually get bigger, so you don't use as much yarn as you do with a wrap, which is the same size the whole time. And also too, it is 50% acrylic and 50% cotton, which is nice that has cotton in it because cotton tends to make things a little bit more breathable. The acrylic is going to help it shrink not as much as it would if it was 100% cotton. Most yarns are acrylic, which just makes it a little bit better because acrylic's a little bit easier to wash than cotton. Cotton tends to shrink. So just make sure you keep that in the back of your mind whenever you're planning the project that you would like to make with this item. So like I said, it gradually goes from one color to the next, which is really pretty, I have to say. They did a really amazing job making the colors gradually change to the next one, because if you kind of look at it, you're like, man, how's it going to get from this bright blue to this purple to this pink to this kind of, it actually goes from a pink to a magenta shade and then turquoise. You kind of wonder how they're going to do that, and they do a really beautiful job, I have to say. They did amazing with the color work. So I do like this yarn. The only complaint I have is that it splits so bad. If it did not split so bad, it would probably be ranking up there as one of my top yarns, but with it splitting, it does kind of stink. But it's nothing that I would not... I would still purchase this yarn again because I do like the coloring. I like how it works out. It's a very pretty light yarn, perfect for spring and summer. And it's also one of those yarns that if you need to make something a little bit thicker, you could pair it with a worsted weight, a very simple worsted weight color, and add a little bit of color to your project if you paired it with a neutral. So there's so many ways around this yarn that you can make a very pretty project with it. You just need to keep an eye on the splitting, like I said. And I'm using they actually call for a size C crochet hook, and right now I'm using a size D, and it's working up really, really well still, even though it's a little bit of a bigger hook. And also keep that in mind, with the smaller the yarn, the smaller hook you're going to have to use. So because if you use too big of a hook, your stitches are going to look a little bit big and loose and not as defined as if you'd use a smaller hook. So anytime you use a smaller yarn, you have to use a smaller hook if you want your stitches to still look defined. But I have to say, I really do like this yarn. I think Red Heart did an awesome job. It's very different from any other yarn I've really seen Red Heart come out with. I think it's really exciting that these yarn companies are trying different types of yarns out there, because so many of the yarn companies over in the UK are killing it with yarn, and it's really cool to see companies here in the United States really trying to try different types of fibers, try different types of yarn, and see what sticks. So I do like this yarn. Like I said, there's just a few things that I would keep your eye out for, and if you absolutely hate splitting yarn, I probably would not try this yarn, because I just feel like it would maybe make you a little bit irritated. But other than that, it's a really great yarn. I love that you get a decent amount. It does retail for about $12, which is not a bad price. It is a little bit more on the spendy side. I got mine off of Amazon, and you can buy it also on yarnspirations.com, and I believe you can find it at Joann's. But so it is a little bit more on the spendy side, but you get over 600 yards in this, which is a pretty good price for it. And they come in beautiful, gorgeous colors. They're very happy colors, which I think we all need a little bit of happiness right now. So I definitely would say I'm going to give this yarn a 4 out of 5 stars because it's really nice. I recommend it. It's very happy. It does have the splitting, but some yarns do just tend to split, and you can tell why this yarn splits. It's not like it's splitting for no reason. It's splitting because it has 4 threads twisted together to make the actual yarn. So just keep that in mind, and like I said, I definitely would recommend this. If you want to try a different type of yarn, a little bit of a thinner yarn, I would say try this one out, give it a go. Beautiful colors. And yes, so that is going to be my review on this yarn. I hope you guys check it out, and let me know down in the comments below what your favorite yarns are right now. I would love to find out, because I'm always wanting to try different yarns, and I want to start doing some reviews on yarns, because I feel like out there's so many different kinds, and sometimes when you're at the store it can be a little bit overwhelming because you want to pick something out that's going to be a good yarn, and you kind of want to know what different projects it would be good for. But yes, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!